What's going on, y'all? Welcome back to Kid Taj, and today we got another Just How Good video. It's been, I believe, a week since I made one of these, and yeah, it was due. We were due for another one of these. I'm kind of running out of young players, so if you guys have an idea, if you guys want to see me make a video on a young player that's getting great and how good you think they will be, or you want to hear how good I think they will be, yeah, just don't forget to leave a comment down below. Let me know who you want to see a video on, and I'll definitely, have a list. I keep the names, and I just want to see more suggestions for certain players so I can make these videos. Anyway, let's get into this. Drop a like down below if you enjoy, subscribe if you're new. McCollum. This is a guy that is actually a very interesting player because he came into the league in the 2013 NBA draft, which I've said before I think is a really bad drafter. At first, it was a really bad draft because the best players initially coming out of that draft class were Michael Carter-Williams, who would win Rookie of the Year, and Victor Oladipo, who was the number 2 pick in the draft. It was highlighted by one of the biggest draft busts of the century of basketball in Anthony Bennett, the first overall pick of the Cleveland Cavaliers. Now, a lot of people like to downplay this because they say that this draft wasn't really loaded, but the thing is that there were a bunch of sleeper picks, which include Giannis Antetokounmpo and, of course, McCollum, who we're going to be covering today. McCollum was picked 10th overall by the Portland Trail Blazers, this guy coming out of Lehigh. So I think it's interesting that the Portland Trail Blazers have a backcourt of great scorers that are comprised of players that come from small schools. Damian Lillard went to the NBA out of Weber State, however you want to say it. McCollum out of Lehigh, which is also a smaller school, not one that you hear of a lot. And interestingly enough, they both went in the top 10, and they both turned out to be stars in the NBA. McCollum is a 6'3" shooting guard, just under 200 pounds for the Portland Trail Blazers. He's starting right beside other star Damian Lillard in the backcourt. 6'3" shooting guard. This is something that people don't really think about when they think about this guy, especially me, because when I thought about McCollum, I think that he's like 6'5" or something like that, because I don't feel like he's 6'3", just when I'm watching a game, it doesn't look like he's 6'3", he doesn't play like he's 6'3", honestly, but he can get his shot wherever, which is something that I think is great about this guy. It's that he's a great shooter. Not only is he a great shooter, he can get anywhere on the court. He's lightning quick off the bounce. He can get shots spotting up or off the dribble, and he has become increasingly better at basically every NBA skill since he's come into the NBA. In his first season, he only played 38 games, and he averaged 5 points in 12 minutes per game. And second season, he played 62 games, and he averaged 7 points in 16 minutes a game. Okay, we got a little steady progress. He had a really good playoffs in that 2015 playoffs. And then 2015-16 season, and this guy is absolutely killing it as the starting shooting guard for the Blazers. That was the year that everybody left. So we had Wesley Matthews and LaMarcus Aldridge and Robin Lopez and Nicholas Batum all go to different teams in that offseason, leaving Damian Lillard as a lone guy. Everybody thought Lillard would have absolutely no help, and that 15-16 Blazers teams, the expectations were very low, and it didn't look like there were a lot of supporting players for him to help him lead this team to a playoff berth. However, McCollum came into his own. He won Most Improved Player, averaging 21 points, 4 assists, 3 rebounds on 45% from the field and 42% from the three-point line. He was a great offensive weapon, a guy that could play alongside Lillard and almost match his scoring numbers, and that's a really formidable duo and two guys that can absolutely light it up from anywhere on the court. Now, keep in mind that not only was McCollum producing and putting up great numbers and being efficient and whatnot, but he also helped lead that team to the 5th seed in the NBA playoffs. They would defeat the LA Clippers, although they were injured. Still a playoff victory, series victory over the Clippers, and would lose in 5 games to the Warriors in a series where they took a game and they easily could have taken more. Kind of slipped out, but it's a young team. When Damian Lillard is the leader and when he's a veteran, when you consider Lillard a veteran on a team, a team is young, and that Portland team was very young in that 15-16 season, and I think that it's great that they got as far as they did. Now in this next 16-17 season, they're hovering around the 8th seed in the playoffs at this point with a little bit over 500 record, or they are 500. I'm sorry, I wasn't on my game. Yes, they're 500. 12-12. Portland Trail Blazers are the 8th seed in the conference. Now, this is worse than expectations, because since the Blazers were able to pick up a 4th or 5th seed in the playoffs last year, or 5th seed I should say, and then they were able to get to the second round, their expectations were higher because of what they accomplished last season. However, they haven't been off to the great start. Their team's defense is awful as a whole, and they just haven't found that groove. Winning games, consecutive games, they haven't been consistent as a team, especially on the defensive end. Now, CJ McCollum, though, is probably the bright spot for this team. I mean, Damian Lillard is having a hell of a season. They've had some injuries, which have, it's not helped. Al-Farouq Aminu, arguably the best defender on this team, was out for a lot of this young season, and, their defense really suffered from that. Now, CJ McCollum has been contributing even more in his second season as an NBA star. 22 points per game, 4 assists, and 4 rebounds are fantastic numbers across the board, and his efficiency is absolutely fantastic, shooting 48% from the field and 46% from 3. He's among the leaders in 3-point percentage, 46%, and he takes 6 a game. He makes 2.7. That's absolutely fantastic from this guy, and also 90% from the free throw line. His free throw rate has increased a little bit. He's just getting better. His turnovers are down from last year, and he's proving to us why he's a terrific offensive player in this league, one of the best scorers and just pure shooters in the NBA. However, CJ McCollum's biggest weakness is nothing really to do with offense whatsoever. It's actually the fact that he's just not a good defensive player, and it hurts this team just because of the fact that him and Damian Lillard are not considered even average defensive players in their own rights, and unfortunately that's hurt this team. Their defense has been terrible. When you have a starting backcourt that defends as poorly as this team, it's not easy to get stops and to get wins, for that matter, just because of that. And these two guys, they try to make up for it all with their offense. They can shoot the lights out, they can hit threes in your face, and they can do a lot in terms of playing off each other, but it just hasn't exactly panned out because they haven't been able to do it on both sides of the floor. Now, that being said, CJ McCollum still has room to grow as a defensive player, and he definitely has room to grow as an offensive player, and that's not a knock against CJ. That's just saying this guy still has potential to be even better than he is on the offensive end. Yes, his production has increased each season. The guy is only 25 years old, only in his 4th season, and he can definitely put together more seasons better than this one. And up to 22 points already in his 4th season, he's got an extremely bright future, and I think that him and Lillard will control this team for a long time. Now, when it comes to stat predictions, this is the part of the video where I do the stat predictions, CJ McCollum, I believe that if he stays on this Portland team, that he could put up something up to 25, 26 along with Lillard. They could combine for a cool 50 to 55 points per game. They really could, because I don't even think Lillard is as good as he's gonna be, because he's young as well. McCollum's very young and not a guy that's been through that much as an NBA player. I think he'll get better. He's got a really good work ethic. His offensive game is extremely polished. He can always get better on defense. That's what I'm looking for. But I think he could be up to 24, 25 points per game on that Portland team. However, if CJ McCollum or Damian Lillard is to leave Portland and it leaves one of them on their own, CJ McCollum can definitely be a primary scorer on a team. He's got the shooting touch. He's the GOAT. He can be the go-to guy. He's got excellent dribble moves, and he can get anywhere he wants on the floor with that quickness. He's blazing fast. If you give him little to any space, this guy he can work wonders with the basketball in his hands. So I think that if he's on a team where he's the primary scorer, he could be up to 26, 27 points per game, even 28, because I think that he's got an incredible touch. He's super quick and very hard to guard, light in his feet. It's just challenging for defenders to guard him because you can't sag off him. He's got a beautiful jump shot, but then when you get up on him, he's got dribble moves. He can free himself from the defense and get open for a split second and knock down a shot. He's extremely hard to guard. Now, that's going to do it for this video. CJ McCollum, I think he's going to be an NBA superstar. He's been an NBA star in this league, and I don't see any reason why he shouldn't keep getting better. This guy's going to be a top shooting guard in the league, I think, for years to come. He already is, but I think he's just going to keep climbing that ladder. I don't see why he could slow down now. Him and Lillard are only going to keep getting better, and if one of them leaves, he might have to, his win totals might suffer on his team, or if he leaves, he might go to a bad team or a good team, and then maybe his numbers won't be as good, but he'll be contributing and he'll be a great player. I just don't see any reason why he needs to slow down. I think he's going to be an excellent player in this league for years to come. that's gonna do it for this video. If y'all enjoyed, please leave a like, comment, and idea down below. Subscribe if you're new, and I'm out. Thanks for watching, y'all. Peace.